Oh God, did you hear about what happened in Manor Farm? Or I guess I should say Animal Farm. Yeah, anyways, I heard that the animals they went like berserk and savage. They savagely kicked out Mr. Jones and they rebelled against humans. Yeah, they're even claiming they will be able to take care of the farm on their own and without the help of the mankind, they will survive and make it the best farm ever in England. Surely they will not last a day. Or will they? Assalamu alaikum. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to MJ's Talk Show. I know I've been gone a while, but I have been exploring some new books, getting a new reads, trying to figure out what's my favorite genre. And I have been suggested these books Animal Farm, which we will be talking about today, and the other book, 1984, which we will do an amazing compare and contrast to this book, and I'm pretty sure you'll like it. I haven't read it just yet, but I bet you it'll be amazing. These two books are written by George Orwell in 1945, I believe. They're both political novels and they seem extremely interesting. So, let's not take too much in the intro and let's get straight into it. So, before we get ahead, I wanted to make it clear that this video will be two parts. The first part here, we will explain the summary and we will do a little story tell about the first 6 chapters. If you know this book, the book is already 10 chapters, so we will do the first 6 in part 1 and the other 4 chapters will be in part 2. After that, there will be a surprise to end the series of Animal Farm. I've been planning on it for quite some days. I've been writing a script and I think it'll be very, very amazing and I cannot wait to publish it. So let's not take too much and let's get straight into it. Okay, so the summary basically, the novel Animal Farm tells the story of farm animals who were suffering because of man's cruelty and neglect. Later on, they revolt against their farmer Mr. Jones, and by the smart planning of the three pigs, Napoleon, Squealer, Snowball, they won their first rebellion against humans, or basically Mr. Jones himself, and they won their freedom. However, later on in the novel, it takes a dark turn where the pigs follow the revolution and begin to take power over the other animals. As the farm begins to fall apart, the pigs grow bigger in body and stronger in power, while the other animals suffer until they couldn't distinguish exactly who was their friend and who was their enemy. Was it the humans or was it the pigs? And here the story begins. Mr. Jones, the owner of Manor Farm, had just came back from the bar. He was blindly drunk and his lantern was dancing from side to side as he went into the yard, kicked off his boots, and he drank the last of his beer and just plopped himself on the bed, and within a few minutes he was out, drunk and sleeping. After he was safely out of the way, we have our first animal character here, Old Major. Old Major was the eldest pig in the farm. He was 12 years old, but rather than that, he was still a majestic looking pig. He was wise and all the animals respected him. After Mr. Jones was out of the way, he went to the farmhouse and called all the animals to come to him immediately because he wanted to talk to them about something very important. Soon after that, all the animals came to him. The three dogs, Bluebell, Jessie, and Pincher, and then the pigs, Napoleon, Squealer, and Snowball. After that came the two cart horses, Boxer and Clover. They all came in together, walking very slowly, making sure they don't even make a single sound, because they do not want to upset Mr. Jones. I guess you can figure out what would he do. After those, Boxer, he came. Boxer was a horse. He was an enormous beast. He was very strong and the most hard-working horse on the farm. Then Muriel the white goat came, also Benjamin the donkey. Benjamin was the oldest animal on the farm, but he was the worst tempered. He knew how to read very well and he knew how to talk, but he kept silent all the time. He never even laughed. Even when he was asked why, he would say he saw nothing to laugh at. Anyways, after all the animals came, the last one was Molly, the foolish, pretty white mare. This is must be my favorite character. She always walks into the farmhouse chewing a lump of sugar, and she really loves attention, especially to her pretty red ribbons, even though it indicated a sign of slavery. But she loved her ribbons and she just loved looking pretty. She gave me I'm just a girl vibe. So basically, the main reason Old Major wanted to gather all the animals around him, he wanted to tell them something very important, which, in my point of view, there were two things. The first thing was he had a very strange dream a few nights back, and felt he was ready to tell them about it. Second, Old Major was a very wise pig. He had lived a long time and he had a lot of wisdom he wanted to pass to them and basically educate them exactly about what's going to happen next after he dies. Obviously, Old Major, as you can see here in his picture, he was old, he was ill, and it was his last days, so he felt it was his duty to pass on them the wisdom he has acquired through all those years and protect them. So he begins by telling them how miserable an animal's life is. He told them their lives was just miserable, it was laborious and short. They were given just so much food as will keep the breath in their bodies. Mr. Jones was extremely neglectful to his animals. He barely gave them food to give them power, no, just to keep them alive. I will not feed you until you're satisfied. No, I just want you to alive, but I want you a working machine. Obviously, it was very pathetic, and they were forced to work to the last atom of their strength. Even after they were very old in age, they are just shipped to the slaughterhouse and it will be off with their necks like they were nothing. He kept telling them that no animal in England knows the meaning of happiness or leisure. No animal in England is free, and the life of an animal is always in misery and slavery, and that is just the plain truth. All the animals were taken aback by his speech. They didn't know how to react. They knew it was true, but they never had that kind of conversation before. They never had the freedom to express their opinions. It was very, very tragic. So he kept talking to them, and especially to the hens. He told them, "How many eggs have you laid this year? More likely, how many of those eggs ever hatched into chickens?" Mr. Jones would always collect all their eggs the moment the chicken hatches an egg. He just takes it, he either sells them or he keeps them for themselves. No, I don't think any hen had been able to see her little chicks just run by. They were all sold off immediately. Even Clover the horse. Old Major asked her, "Do you have any idea what happened to the four horses you gave birth to, the four of her children? Do you have any idea where they went?" She shook her head. No, of course she doesn't. He told her, "Mr. Jones sold each of them at a year old, and you will never get to see one of them again." That's why Old Major was explaining to them they need to wake up, to face Mr. Jones, to just stop the abuse, stop the neglect, and just stop his cruelty. They need to rebel against him, against all humans. And in his last breaths, he began to set for them a few ground rules. Number one, all men are enemies and all animals are comrades. Comrades means friends. All men are going to be the enemy of animals. They should not even come and try to socialize with them because they will just hurt them. And every single animal is a friend. Even the rats, they ruin the crops, they pick holes in the houses, they ruin everything, but even rats are going to be friends. And this is where the seven commandments begin. It was agreed by everybody upon these rules. First, whatever goes upon two legs is an enemy. Whatever goes upon four legs or has wings is a friend. No animal must ever live in a house, or sleep in a bed, or wear clothes, or even drink alcohol, or smoke tobacco, or touch money, or even try to engage in trade with humans. He told them that all the habits of man are evil, and above all, no animal must ever tyrannize over his own kind, weak or strong, simple or clever. They were all brothers, and no animal must ever kill any other animals. all animals are equal. Now, the main reason why Old Major gathered all the animals was to tell them about the strange dream he had a few nights back. So, in his dream, he saw that the earth was so peaceful, and he realized then that every human being, every mankind, was vanished from the face of the earth, and the animals were just living so peacefully in harmony, and nothing can ever bother them. This reminded him many years ago when he was a little porker, as he would say. His mother used to sing him this song. He never really, he only knew the tune and he never really remembered the full song. He barely remembered the first three words, Beasts of England. And in that dream, while the animals were so happy dancing and singing, they were singing that song, Beasts of England. As you can see here, this song gave all the animals a hope, a spot of light that they can rebel against the humans. They can stand up for themselves and stop Mr. Jones' abuse and stop his neglect, stop his cruelty, stop the humans' cruelty in general. The song here just gave them that spark of hope and power they needed. And after Old Measure stopped singing the song, all the animals started singing with him, and the night has passed peacefully, and it gave them the hope and it gave them a lot of ideas how they can stand up against Mr. Jones. Sadly, 3 nights later, Old Measure had died peacefully in his sleep and he was buried. After Old Measure's death, the animals spent 3 months trying to figure out what is going to be their next move. They were planning, organizing a lot of things. But mainly, the work of teaching and organizing just fell upon the pigs. They all got themselves together and told the other animals, we will teach you everything, we will organize everything, we will plan everything. Just have to watch, learn, and act. That's it. So, our three main pigs in the novel here, the two young boars, Snowball and Napoleon, and Squealer, of course. So, Napoleon was a large, rather like he was a large, fat, mean-looking Berkshire boar. He was the only Berkshire boar on the farm. He wasn't really much of a talker, but he had a reputation of getting things his own way. He was a mean. He was very, very mean. Snowball was just the complete opposite of Napoleon. He was a quick talker, he was good in speech. He was not considered to have the same depth of the character, but he was just so much better than Napoleon. And the best known among them, of course, was a small fat pig named Squealer. He had round cheeks, twinkling eyes. He was still young, but he was a brilliant talker and he was arguing. When he argues and there's some difficult points, he had a way of skipping from side to side and like whisking his tail, and he just seemed very persuasive to all the other animals. And they even said that Squealer could turn black into white. He was just such a good talker, manipulator. He was just very good at what he was doing. Of course, after that, it was agreed by the majority that the pigs will just do all the teaching, all the organizing. But why? Whenever they asked why, Squealer just trotted up and said, "Oh, it's because we're the brain workers of the farm, and we're just naturally more smart than the other animals." They think they were just smarter than everybody else and they can top it all off. I mean, I agree. The sheep were the dumbest animals on the farm, but the pigs, well, they're not so smart now, are they?